Let's see if I can push this out there. Copy. Gosh. Right. Hopefully someone's watching me. Let's see if I can go down here. Let's put that one on. And then we'll go back to the live chat. And hopefully everyone is watching. I think I'm live, but I'm not sure. Let me go and whack this one in. I apologise that I'm 15 minutes late. I got absolutely engrossed in research, believe it or not. There. And all I'm doing now is putting this information out there. Everyone gets it. And I haven't got my hearing aids in. But I'm getting a few people out there. John, 812, how you doing? June Goa, good evening. I'm English, not British. Hi, everyone. Tony Heslop, how you doing, son? Truth Crusader, good evening all. Luke, 1956, one of my favourite people. Wee Man 12, another one of my favourite people. Jules Ann, 67, definitely one of my favourites. Lives in a lovely part of the country. John Aspinall, how you doing, son? Norman Stevens, John Paul, hello. Everyone's out there. Literally, I sat down and I thought, I'll just check this out. And then I thought I'd look at the time, thinking it was about 6 o'clock, right? And it was 8:05. And I was like, and I've jumped up and just put the show straight out. So there are some things that I need to try and show you. And I'm trying to think the best way I can do it. Now, someone sent me something the other day. And I'm not sure where it is now, so I'll have to try and find that as well. Let me try and find this from him. So Simon Lacey sent me something, because this is all important, and people are doing things. So don't forget, I'm on Sonia Poulton's show tomorrow, so try and get stuck in with that. Simon Lacey. Simon. Let's see if I can bring that up. Two-party system. I think, is that the one that he did? I'm not sure. The reader printed. No, that's the last one he did. So there's another one that he's just done. And I think it is this one. Part 1 states that King William III was made to understand that he must rely on one party or another if he wanted support. There's a particular I'm looking for. Simon sent me, and it's annoying, I can't find it. Let me have a look. I'll tell you what, it's because it's in this lot. Hi, sounds good. Certainly endeavour. Sent to my galaxy. Cheers. The full case judgment is in the book. Let me have a look at this. I've got quite a bit that I've found on here, but let me have a look at this one. Let's see if I can find it. Ashby versus White. I think that's the one that I'm looking for. That is it. All right. So I'm now going to save that to. Where am I going with that one? I apologise to everyone. Let's go to the petition and put it on there. It already exists. Right, which means, let me see if I can bring it up on the screen. I'm going to bring it over here and let you make sure that you understand what this means. Let me grab that one and put that one back down there. Are you all still with me? Don't forget, sharing is caring. I've got 118 people watching. Don't forget to subscribe. It's really important. Hit the like button. And sharing is caring. So you're the main people out there. The reason why I've brought this up is because on that shelf behind me, them two books there are Sir Edward Cook's volumes of the Institutes of English Law, right? There's another book here, which is the third book, I believe it is, right? And there's more that I've been going through. But the reason is because Ashby versus White actually brings a particular case up. But the reason why I want to bring this up to you, so you understand what this is, and I'm going to share it and hope this don't go pear-shaped. I don't believe it will go pear-shaped, but if it does, it does, right? To maintain this opinion, 3 positions were laid down. So just to make sure, the Lord Chief Justice Holt was of opinion that judgment in this case ought to be given to the plaintiff. But Mr. Justice Powell, Mr. Justice Powis and Mr. Justice Gould, so bear in mind they went against him, never surrender, right? Because there's always a higher court, and the last court is a court of judgment of God himself, right? Being a different opinion, judgment was entered for the defendant, so it went against the plaintiff, whereupon the plaintiff brought a writ of error in Parliament, and the cause are being argued at the bar of the House of Lords by counsel, and 10 of the judges who were present in the House being heard, and the matter fully debated by the Lords, the House was of the opinion that the judgment given in the King's Bench was erroneous, right? So, and that the plaintiff has good cause of action and ought to have judgment, right? So to maintain this opinion, these 3 positions were laid down. This is really why it's important. That the plaintiff, as a burgess of the borough, had a legal right to give his vote for the election of Parliament burgesses, right? And same goes for someone standing. It's exactly the same thing. It's called universal suffrage, right? So you can't stop someone from standing for Parliament, and you can't stop someone from voting for that person, which is what they've done in this case. And our case, right? That as a necessary consequence thereof, and an incident separable to that right, he must have a remedy to assert and maintain it, right? So you must have a remedy. This is what's known as a personal, this is what's known as a private right injury, right? Get that right. It's a private right injury. And you have a common law right and a constitutional right, because this goes all the way back to the first statute of Westminster, where it says 3 elections. I showed you the other night. But this is really that you need to take note of this, right? So anyone out there listening to this, listen to what I'm trying to tell you. 3, that this is the proper remedy which the plaintiff have pursued, being supported by the grounds and principles of the ancient common law of England. To make good the first position that the plaintiff has legal right to give his vote at the election of burgesses for his borough, it was said that it is well known the House of Commons consists of knights, citizens and burgesses. Citizens were people in cities, right? Burgesses were the home counties, if you want to call it that, or other bits and pieces, right? The bit that's really important is the second sort of the cities. So it goes in and it tells you the difference between a city and a citizen, etc. Thereof have the right and privilege annexed to the estates. But there's one really important part of this, and I'm trying to find it again for you. Tells you about towns being incorporated. But there's a particular thing that I'm looking for. It was said that there are many rights for which a man has no remedy but a common law. What they're saying is that's wrong. But there's no such right without a remedy. There was a particular thing, and I took it from somewhere and I put it out the other day. It was so important. There was much weight laid upon the case of Ford and Hoskins, where the custom and manner every tenant for life might name his successor for life. This goes back to farmers, whom the law to admit. If one be named and the Lord refuses to admit him, it was held an action on the case would not lie, because the nominee had no right without being admitted. But the reason given for that opinion shows it has no relation to this case. For the plaintiff's right of voting is vested in him without any previous admittance, therefore, though it should be law, that no action will lie for not giving a right, yet certainly an action must lie for defrauding and hindering a man to enjoy a right that he hath, right? This is why this is so important, and there's a particular one here that's really important, and it's the case of Marshall C. 12. This is a maxim allowed and approved, right, for all ages. So that's why our cases are so important, right? There's one properly remedied action. The action is found in particular that when a man is injured in person, wounded in trespass, assault, being imprisoned. 2, good taken away, half a franchise action in the case. Basically, there is a point in this that I have got to show you, and I'm trying to think where it is. How can I find it? For me to try and find that, I'm going to have to... how can I find that? Is it on there? Zoom, find and edit. Find. 129 of them. Let me have a look. Right on the Nazi Squire, bridged. It's all about rights, right? Second in my mock top. Oh, there's another. Remember what I said to you before? The second citizen of the first sort in the most ancient towns of England, whose lands are held in burgage, and by reason thereof have the right and privilege annexed to their estate of sending them. Where did it say? Where did I just say it? There it is. The second sort are those cities and boroughs that have a right by prescription, time immemorial, or by charter, right, within the time of memory to choose the burgesses. But there is a particular thing here. It says lose. There it is. Found it. There you go. I knew it was somewhere. I don't know what page that was on. Page 3, right? This is really important. So I don't know how I can put this up a bit further, right? In order without a remedy, right? I'm going to highlight that here. That's where I'm reading from. And I want you to understand what this says, right? Because this is pretty crucial to any of them people out there telling you not to vote, right? He loses or quits his right, but there is no such notion in law of England as a right without a remedy. He who loses or quits his remedy loses his right. If a man has a bond for payment of £1,000, he has no remedy to recover his money but by action. Therefore, if he releases all actions, he loses his right to the money because he has given away the means to recover it. Coke 6th Report 58 Bridgman case. If a man purchases an advocacy and at the next avoidance suffers a usurpation and brings not the square impeded in time, he have lost all manner of remedy, and in consequence his right, to which neither he nor his heirs can ever be restored, right? So what they're basically saying there is, by not voting, you are giving away your right. and in essence, you have given away your remedy, and you've lost your right to vote forever, right? It is an important thing to say to people that under the common law, if you quit on your remedy or quit on your right, yeah, then you've lost that right. So I have never quit on any of our rights. Therefore, I have not lost any remedy. And that's improving with us, every one of us who's putting this case forward, right? Would it not look very strange in a constitution so formed that the Commons of England have an undoubted share in the legislative authority, which is to be exercised by their representatives, chosen by themselves, in which every freeholder of 40 shillings per annum have a right to vote for the county, every citizen for a city, and every burgess for a borough? That if the sheriff or other officer who is to cause the election to be duly made shall hinder or deprive any of those electors of his right, the person injured shall have no remedy, though the injury be done to such a right, upon the security whereas the lives, liberty and property of all the people of England so much depend. Right? This is an absolute... So this is being put in its entirety, the full judgment and the full debate, because again, if I take you to another element of this, which I think I can do on the screen, hopefully. I'm not sure if that is the one or it's that one. Let me go back to Anne. I'm not sure if this is going to come up on your screen or not, but we will try. And annexed. Right, so again, all right, I don't want to be doing that. I've got to go through the whole of this document to find the bit I need for you. Right, and I apologise that I didn't have this prepared as I would have liked it to have been. But what I'm going to do now is share that tab. Let's stop sharing. Now I've got to go back to this. It's probably going to go pear-shaped. Nope. Entire screen. There it is on the screen. Hopefully you've got that. I'm not sure if it's on there or not. Oh, nuts. There it is. I'm hoping you've got that on your screen. Right. So this is the fuller judgment. It's 200 pages, comes from another book. and when the Lords made their judgment, which was 10-2 in favour of the plaintiff, the Queen answered the Lords and Parliament, right? And this is what she said, to which Her Majesty was pleased to the same day to return the following most gracious answer. In other words, she was listening to the case and waiting for the answer and then waiting to crack on, right? My lords, I should have granted the writ of error desired in this address, but finding an absolute necessity of putting an immediate end to this session, she's talking about the session of Parliament, I am sensible there could have been no further proceedings upon this matter. So what she did, just to make sure you are aware, vote of thanks ordered by the Lord Spiritual and Temporal and Parliament Assemblies that the humble thanks of the House is presented to Her Majesty for a most gracious answer, in which she has expressed so great a regard for the judgment of this House, so much compassion for the petitioners, and so much tenderness for the rights of the subject, right? The same day the Queen came to the House and put an end to the session. So she prorogued Parliament, right? And the Lord Keeper prorogued the Parliament to Tuesday, the 1st of May, which put an end to this affair, right? So what you've got is a proper monarch that stood up for you. The law lords stood up for you, right? And they basically said, through ancient rights and liberties and the ancient custom, time immemorial. And by the way, this goes all the way back. This judgment states it, right? It goes all the way back to the first statute of Westminster in 1275, where the franchise was extended to the commoners, us, in effect us, right? And the point of what they're trying to do, so anyone, and again, I'm going to stop sharing this now, right? I've been going through the other one. I've had someone else contact me today that I'm really, really pleased about, who's gone and found me some Halsbury's Laws of England's book in an old bookshop. He's got 20 of the set, but not the full set. But one of the books is crucially important, and I really need it. So I need the books, right? So the books you see behind me are the Halsbury statutes, so the statutes of England, right, including Volume 10, which is the constitutional law that we're relying on in this case, right? The Halsbury's Laws of England is the common law. So there's two separate versions of law in this country. One is a statute, and it's the same thing as a charter, right? All of these common law of the land people need to go and get an education on the law, right? A charter was what the king did with council, right? So the barons, prior to there being a parliament or in place of a parliament. And then from the first statute of Westminster, we had a parliament. And then it was called a statute rather than a charter. But the charters and statutes are the same thing. They are the law of the land, right? The highest law of the land, without any, and I'm not, is the common law, right? A statute is just words on paper until it's deciphered and judged upon by a common law judge, right? And we're not talking about administrative law. We're talking about the real law of the land and the common law. So without getting too confusing with this, there's two elements to it, but one backs the other up. And if the statute takes away your liberties and rights, and etc., it should never have been assented to. And you can see from what I've just shown you, where a monarch has stepped in and said, shut down Parliament, you cannot debate the rights of an Englishman, right? That's basically why she prorogued Parliament. And because it was about the right to vote in an election, and a number of constables had stopped the individual from voting. And what they said in that judgment was it didn't matter the fact that whoever he voted for won or lost or whatever, it's his right to vote. And again, you got to remember there's something crucially important about what we're doing now with this case. I want you to remember something. You've got three primary respondents to this, apart from Sarah Pouchin herself, MP. And I'm going to tell you some other things in a minute, right? Because we have had a response back from one of them. So stay tuned, people, because I'm going to tell you something, right? There's three primary respondents to this who have interfered with our right, not just my right, but your right as the electorate as well, and especially those in Runcorn and Halsby. People don't realise how serious this is, right? And this can bring down the government, because what we're suggesting is systemic, right? So the three primary respondents is Emma Guilford, all right, Royal Mail Limited. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Stephen Young, the returning officer, who is a Crown servant in this case, right? CEO of Houghton Council. It was his job to make sure that no one cheated in that election, right? And return a proper result. And he hasn't, right? And the third respondent is the Chief Constable of Cheshire Police. And there's a number of people out there talking about Cheshire Police and how corrupt they are, right? But trust me when I say this, they are corrupt to the core, right? They have followed on well from the Cheshire yeomanry that slaughtered us when we stood up and asked for the vote, right? Nothing's changing. But I will say this to everyone listening, right? Thank you, ancient English. It's because I try and keep that thing up there, I'm sure, right? Which is the equivalent of me having a fag permanently when I'm talking to them. And to the Americans, I don't mean a fag as in jiggy jiggy, right? I mean a cigarette, right? So, what's happened today, or actually yesterday, is the Royal Mail and their very high-powered solicitors and barristers have made an application to the court to have her name, personal name, Emma Guilford, removed and Royal Mail Limited put in, right? There's two reasons why I'm going to respond tomorrow and ask for a variation and say no, right? That is because all of the other people have got their name and then who their, if you want to call it, their legal fictions are, right? They're trying to replace a real person, right? An individual. Forget all this common law. A real person. In other words, a servant, right, or an officer of that corporation, right? That's it. That's what she is. She's the lead officer of that corporation, and everything that corporation does, she is responsible for, right? So, my application tomorrow is to say, right, it must be Emma Guilford, because this is a private right injury, and she is the person. She's took the role on. She's been paid all that money, and she is personally responsible for what the Royal Mail does to me and injuring me and my private rights, right? And in particular, what the Royal Mail have done to us. And they come back, in my opinion, and have lied and said there was a big investigation. Nonsense, right? And all of a sudden, they're getting smacked up the arse because all of a sudden, someone's actually said, listen, we've warned you, this is what we're doing. And we've done it, right? So what I've got to do tomorrow is make an application to the court. Again, it costs us more money, right? And the application to the court is that it is Emma Guilford, Royal Mail Limited, right? So both the Royal Mail Limited and her, so you've got an action against the corporation and an action against the individual because she is the officer of the corporation. This is what I'm trying to explain to people about legal fictions. Now, what it looks like they're doing is trying to put the legal fiction in place so she's not personally responsible. Not having it. This is my private right injury case. This is your private right injury case. And just to make sure I express this to everyone and you understand what I mean by this, I had more right than any one of them individuals that are named as respondents, right, to be involved with that election because there were 10 assenters, right? That means 10 constituents signed a bit of paper that said they wanted me to stand in the election, right? That's the first thing. Two of them assenters, one was a proposer, one was a seconder, and then there was 8 assenters. What does that mean? It means I was in effect elected to stand, right? The Americans might call it a primary, whatever you want to. But I was elected by the people. Yeah, we want you to stand because we believe in democracy. And then the 3 respondents in particular, right, have decided that they have more power, even though they've never been assented to by any of the constituents of Runcorn and Hillsby. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? So who has more right, us or them? But they certainly don't have the right to personally injure me, the English Constitution Party, our members, and certainly those who gave their ballot to us, right? That's what this is all about. People need to understand that I'm going to stand there and argue in the High Court what this position really is, and we're using all these old laws, and the old laws are still law, And again, I spoke to someone earlier. I sent a video out to someone that asked for it. And one of the things I spoke about, so you've got the Statute of Westminster, Chapter 5, free elections. That's what's known as entrenched law, right? It's English common law. It's also a statute. But people must remember this. The Bill of Rights says the same things, free elections. So it's backing it up again from a revolution. Crucially important with all of this information that I'm now giving you, right, is that if they have blatantly disregarded the first Statute of Westminster, 1275, the English Bill of Rights, and the common law right for us to stand in elections and for you to vote for me, right? They've blatantly gone against that. I want you to understand what I'm about to say. That's a criminal offence for two reasons. One, it is contempt of statute, still common law. It's a common law criminal offence. It's an ancient law, still on the statute books and where it should be, right? On the statute, on the common law. So it's what's known as the laws of England, right? Ashby's laws of England, other than the statutes, right? So the other side of it's a common law. And second is the contempt of sovereign, because the sovereign assented to the, and again, the reason why they call this the mother of all parliaments is because we've been a parliament in this way the longest in the world, right? So it's called the mother of all parliaments, and it comes from the first Statute of Westminster in 1275, and the reference I'm making is to Chapter 5. So we're bringing all of this and levelling it against the state or people that are overriding our rights because of their personal decision. And part of this is a Fabian society, and part of this is common purpose, where they think they can get away with it. All right. So it's important that the people understand what is going on here, and it is crucial that everyone understands the absolute Ashby versus White and what it said. That if you don't vote, in effect, you're renouncing your right to vote, and therefore by doing that, you've lost that right. And more of you are now seeing that the less people that vote, the more tyranny takes over, because the only people, because they're allowed to, I think they are, swap votes about and keep themselves in power. In other words, the only way they can keep power, and particularly the Labour Party, but also the Conservatives, is by cheating. And that is what they've been doing, because they've had their ideology so long in the background, they think they can get away with it. Until people like me and you and the people of Runcorn and Hillsby that are backing this case, right, stand up and say, no, you're not doing that. That is our right that you're messing with, and we're not accepting it. And bearing in mind, there's another amusing factor to this. Someone sent me a link to, don't go on it because it's a bit, but to, I think it was Hope Not Hate, where they said we're a tiny party, and I'm a conspiracy theorist. Really? Right. Well, this is a conspiracy theory, is it? But they haven't mentioned at all that we stand up for pensioners, that we stand up for disabled people and the rights of pensioners and disabled people, unlike Hope Not Hate, the most extreme Marxist left group out there that want to euthanize pensioners because after conning them into believing they're going to get a decent pension at the end of all this, and then removing the pension and increasing the age limit and doing all these things that I hear all the time from people, and people have been conned. So it just goes to show, and it's a little tiny write-up. I just thought to myself, saying the reason why they regard us as a tiny party, is because they're cheating in elections. They are mocking the fact that they are cheating in elections. And that's exactly what's going on. So I just want everyone to understand that. Simon Lacey, I am grateful for all your assistance. I have just brought up some of your stuff on there. There's a lot. I've still got some other stuff to do, and then I've got to get stuck into Charlie's case. Charlie rang me today. What are you going to do? I know you're busy. I said, yes, I am going to be working on it, and I've still got to speak to some other people as well. This is a David and Goliath event. I've just seen that in the comments. I absolutely agree with you, right? And I'm trying as much as I can. I mean, I went on the State Department of America's. You can all do this if you want. If you all went onto it, let me see if I can find it, because they don't like this. They don't like this at all, right? Let's see if I can go and find the State Department. I don't know how to do it. Let's see if I can put this in. New subject. Complain to State Department, USA. How do you do it? I've already gone on there and said basically there's a case in England. It's to do with cheating, etc. And you should put it on there that they've cheated us, that they've lied, etc. State agency, Bureau Consular Affairs. That's not the one I want. State government. You don't want that one. Elected officials, mission specific. You don't want that one. Not US Embassy, bureaus and secretary, office of civil rights. That's civil rights violations. Civil rights violations, external to USA, non-USA citizens. See if this comes up. There's a particular link. If you hit the link and then fill out the form and say, we need you to keep an eye on this case, I'll give you the case number. Scope of US Department of State's role, assisting relevant statement, can document human rights abuses in annual county reports, China, Iran. This is a human rights abuse, by the way. Bureau of Democracy, Labour, DHL. I can't find it on there, but contact. Let me put contact. Let's see if it comes up with it now. So I'm trying to find it for you to go and do it. I hate it when I do these things off the cuff. Democracy, human rights. Contact methods. I'm going to Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labour. There's an email address there. And you can send them a thing and tell them Office of Global Criminal Justice, Humanity, Gaza airstrikes, abuses, what to include, detailed accounts of violations. You need to, what's this one? Online form, report fraud, Department of State, public inquiries. There's lots of stuff on there, but I need to find a thing. Anyway, I'll come back to that and have a look, right? Going to Amnesty International, a bunch of fucking lefties, and there's absolutely no point. But if anyone wants to start sending emails to these people, that's the USA, that's their email address, right? English Constitution Party. And basically you tell them we've got a case. So again, if I went back to today's case, and I can't find it now, I've got to go back to, where am I going back to? I think I've already saved that one. Let me see if I can get rid of that one a second. Service, crowd, Skype, Val, elections. There it is there. So that what they're trying to do, this isn't the court, by the way, but I do want to give you the case reference and case number. So again, you need to write to them people. And Tracy, if you can grab that email address and then put it in, give it back to me on WhatsApp, just in case I forget. But the case number, if you're writing to the United States of America, is Papa P 381-25. So P 381 dash, meaning / oblique is called / 25. Right. And if I show you that on the screen, you'll have a better idea of it. Let me see if I can show you that. Right, so there it is. And then that come in today, and what they've said is they wanted to, in order is varied, in order, Emma Gilthorpe is substituted with Royal Mail Group Limited, if you can see that on the thing, right? Well, I'm going back and saying no, right? It's got to be Emma Gilthorpe and then of Royal Mail Group Limited, right? Because this is a private right injury, and it's really important that people understand it, right? So you've got that information up on your screen. I'm not sure if I can actually grab that. I don't think I can, right? But if you want to know what it is again, I will put it in there. P381-25. Now, what happens if you use that reference? You would say case number, right? And that's an election petition, right? And you would tell them that we've caught them cheating, and basically they're interfering with your right. That's as simple as that. Right, so I'll come back off of there. Let's get back off of there. And I think I'm back to where I should be. DD, post a PDF on the ECP site. Yeah, I could do, because it is an order. Let me make sure I've got that on there. Let me, so order. Let's see if I've downloaded this already. Order. Gilthorpe. And don't forget, what they don't like is her stepfather is a 40-year Tory peer. It's very incestuous, right? And I'm just letting you know what they're doing, right? So I've put that on there. I need to send that to put an update on there. Let me see if I can put that on. I wonder if I can send it to Steve. All right, Steve. There's Steve, and I'll put that on there. Document. Not on that one. Let's go to petition. There it is. All right. Up date. And you can all see that they don't like the fact that, so they're trying to change our name out, which is wrong. It should be Emma Gilthorpe of Royal Mail Limited, because she and them, right? So she's an officer of the corporation, and what they're trying to do is swap and put a legal fiction in there, so she can stand back from it, not having it, right? This is a private right injury, just to make sure everyone knows, right? So I've put that information out there. Everyone got it? Do you all understand what they're doing? Let me just see if I can. I'm going to have to show you the boat in a minute. Let me see if I can find that on there. I wonder if that video's on there. Let's see if I can bring this up.
There's the true
He's a fuck. Right. He's sending me videos of Portugal just to wind me up, right? But look at these flags on this boat, right? So I'm going to show you. Hopefully, I'll be able to show you completely on this screen, right? And I'll run this, share audio as well, right? You should be able to see this. I'm just going to play it to you.
There's the true flag of sovereignty, brother.
Look at our English flag!
It is.
There you go. Right, so stop sharing. Nice and hot out there at the moment. I think he said it was just over 100 degrees, but in the cabin area of the boat. He said it must be a bit warm. You're wearing a t-shirt. Yeah, I ain't even left this place for days. I'm just sitting here researching and reading the books and getting stuff there. She might be on holiday. Aha, love it, Graham, right? So everyone can see it. She might be on holiday. Who might be? Hello, Captain Tim, if you're watching. Yeah, give Captain Tim a shout out. So hello, Captain Tim, and stick the English flag in there so he knows where his rights come from. Well, Tracy X have blocked that account this tea time. Green Banker. Tracy X has blocked that account this time. What account? Is there plenty of... Let me go and have a look and see if I can see anything else coming up there. So, again, I don't want to go into too much actual bullshit. But I've told you everything that's going on at the moment. So there's still a lot of stuff going on. Is anyone paying attention? Massive... It's going right before our eyes. And I've got a strong concern about Sharia law and whether it would be forced on American people. I don't know what that's about. I'll have a look at it. Let's see if I can change the output of that to on here. Is on here. So anyone needs to watch this. Let me see if I can show you this on the screen. Share and share sound. Right. So, Jessica, is anyone paying attention? You've got a massive Muslim takeover in the United Kingdom going on right before our eyes. I've got some strong concerns about Sharia law and whether that'll be forced on the American people. Well, it will be. And they don't take prisoners.
I mean, is anybody paying attention
Let's have a look and see
to what's happening in London? I'm going to say it here on the floor of the House to get the scorn of people when I say you've got a massive Muslim takeover of the United Kingdom going on right before our eyes. They would say, Chip, well, what is wrong with that? Well, I've got some pretty strong concerns about Sharia law and whether that'll be forced upon the American people. In this case, the people of the United Kingdom. I've got pretty strong concerns about people who want to see Israel's destruction, who were happy about October 7th, who were elected in the United Kingdom. Some might say that we've seen that here in the United States. What are we going to do about that? We have 51.5 million people who are foreign born in the United States. They have about 20 to 25 million kids. That puts that well over 20-some% of our population. It's the highest such number in the history of our country. People say, well, isn't that great? Is it? Are we teaching people about Western civilization? Are we teaching people about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the rule of law? Are we teaching them Western values? Are we teaching them God exists? Are we teaching them the importance of freedom? Or are we teaching an entire generation or two or three to run around complaining about what's wrong and why the entire world is against them because of their skin color, their sex, their supposed gender identity, whatever the hell category we create to make people have an excuse for not just stepping up and achieving the American dream?
So just making sure that you're all listening to this, right? You wonderful, wonderful people. You understand why I say that Texans are the nearest culture in America to the English, right? Just to make sure. Hello, Captain. It's my extended metaphor poem. Walt Whitman, 1865. Right, there you go. Dragon, Daily Dragon's full English show website. All of it's out there. What Wat Tyler do in a situation like what would Wat Tyler do in a situation like this? Wat Tyler was only part of what was going on there. But anyway, let me have a quick look and see if there's anything else. Festival, free speech. We want Graham Moore as a guest speaker. Yeah. No. How do I do that? No, not that. You silly bastard. I'm trying to get to him. How do I get to him? Right, we need that emailed as much as possible. I don't know if that's to the right people or not. How can you email that to the right people? You want to put that on there. Any of you want to contact Tommy Robinson and say, well, you believe in free speech, why won't you allow Graham Moore to speak at your event? It's about England, right, and our ancient laws and customs. That's pretty much what's going on. Let's see if there's anything else in there. So I'm going to go back. Oh, Mark Atwood, there you go. You're a child in a universe no less than Tress and stars if you have the right to be here. Feeling of betrayal is part of waking up. Morning campers. There you go. Another great person. Let me have a look at this one. The SNP, which are really and truthfully, they don't want independence. They never have done. That is a load of bullshit, and all they believe in is in attacking the English when it is the British. They've got a very British view on everything because they've been indoctrinated by the British. Euro Constitution, that's an act of settlement stated before it's British remote. Just to let you know, by the way, if anyone wants to send this one out, I'd be really happy. It's had 29 retweets already. Let's see if we can up this one. Just to make sure you're aware, right? The other person, whatever her name is, Ashley something, has blocked me, right? So the deputy leader of Britain First, spouting off about free speech, etc., has blocked me. But I just want you to not understand, Britain First, absolutely, do you agree, right? Now, listen to what I'm about to say. This is what they're putting out. Raise your hand if you agree that government positions should be held by UK-born natives only and not foreign bodies. And what I put was, so you're a constitutionalist, ? That is what the Acts of Settlement 1701 stated before the Brits removed it. And he is waving the British flag. And his logo is all about the British, right? Britain first. No, not Britain first, England first, right? And then people have put everything in there. We need to avoid the Acts of Union to get our country back. This is Mick. England and stopped the takeover of our country. Only English-born of two English parents can hold office in England. English avoiding the Acts of Union. Robert Young, again, there's a great picture of Robert Young out there. James O'Loonan, there's a 3-year-old full of white clots. We're seeing lots of different information coming out there, so smash them out there. Try and get that out as much as you can. But again, they don't like what we're doing because we're actually standing up for ourselves, and I've got to make sure I retweet that one. If anyone wants that one as well, I'll copy that link and send it out there. Right, there you go. Right, and then I'm going to have a cold drink because I'm near enough coming to the end of this show. So I'm going to say stop sharing for the second. So again, I apologise for being late. I was caught up absorbed in research and reading law. I don't know where the time goes. I just 1 minute I'm like, and then the whole day just goes. And I've been up since quite early this morning. I feel like going back on a boat. But one of us is already out there with him again, giving him an hand on the boat and doing some different things. I might even consider we've got to find a way of getting a safer egress and access point on the boat, because that rickety old ladder ain't a good thing. I don't know where to find that. Like, we need a set of stairs that can be extended onto the back so you can walk up the stairs, and it needs to have things and goes over the top. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we need to do a safer way of getting on and off the boat. I can see someone getting hurt on it. And there's no health and safety in that yacht. Let me tell you, I don't care whether they're part of you. It's funny because all the health and safety laws come from the European Union. You've never seen anything like it. That's it. I am going to say, God bless everyone. Don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution for obvious reasons. Boat life is good for you. Well, if I could eventually get enough money to buy a boat, and I can honestly say it's a lifestyle that agrees with me, right? And dropping anchor anywhere around Portugal, wherever it is, and just coming ashore to get your provisions and going back to your boat, as long as everything works on the boat. So I've been looking at that, but I need to find a way of doing it. Anyone out there who wins the lottery and wants to make a donation to my boat fund, you can. But I would never stop. The thing is with me, I'd never stop fighting. I'd still be there like that. Do you know what I mean? I'd like to write a book while I'm on the boat, because then there's less distractions. But anyway, good night. God bless to everyone. I will see you I'll see you in the morning. Don't forget, Socio-political at 9:10. So I've got to make sure I wake up tomorrow morning. I will set an alarm and make sure I'll get up really early. You'll see me suited and booted on there, and I'll explain the case to her and explain the case to the people. But it's really important that you share this show. It's really important that you hit the like button more than anything. I see we've got our resident troll is back. We need to get over 100 likes. It annihilates everything, right? Don't forget to subscribe. It's really important, because you're getting updates that they're trying to attack us on this platform. They don't like Rumble at all, and Rumble's going to be the only platform that pays you in Bitcoin or a version of Bitcoin. I think it's called Tether or Tetherum, whatever it's called, which is a biggie because no one else is doing that, and that means you can stay away from the state. I'm very worried about what Reform are doing, because they're talking about Bitcoin, but central bank digital currency is not Bitcoin, not in the way that we're talking about, right? Just to let everyone know. So don't forget to follow me on X, really important. Go and create an X account, come on there, because we need to get our numbers up. That's another thing. Hope Not Hate said, they had their X account taken away, right? That means it was them, right, that did that. We know it was them. So they've attacked the account. These people, and especially lefties, don't do this. Like I said, if socialism, Marxism, communism was so fantastic, they wouldn't need to cheat in elections. And that's exactly what they're doing. And what we've got to try and do is take this country back. And we're the only people out there fighting the right way for it. That's it. I will see you all tomorrow morning, 9:10, Socio-political. Try and get on there. Give us as much support as possible. And let us see it. Because that's what people... So Sean Atwood went, wow, when he looked at the numbers, because everyone was on there looking, because you'd all come off this show and went on to there. So that's at 9:10, Socio-political. And again, I'll see if I can go and find a link for us. I don't think she sent me the link so far. Rob Young, to my ancestors, God allowed me wisdom, show me the next step. Exactly that. Only 1 hour. Government control the on-off ramps for crypto. Yeah, I know they do. But there you go. Right. So I'll also be back tomorrow night. Good night. God bless. See you all later. Au revoir. Tiddly poo and all that. Right. I'm going back to my research. Bye.